Ryan Murphy's new TV series Love Story is pulling huge ratings and getting people talking everywhere. The show dives into the famous romance between John F. Kennedy Jr. and Carolyn Bessette. But while viewers are hooked, actress Daryl Hannah is absolutely furious about how the series portrays her. She finally broke decades of silence about her relationship with JFK Jr., and she didn't hold back. In a sharp essay published in the New York Times, she blasted the show as appalling, calling out what she believes is a twisted version of real events. And she's not the only one raising eyebrows over this drama-filled portrayal. But before jumping deeper into the controversy, a quick history refresher is necessary for anyone who might not remember just how big of a figure JFK Jr. was. Many people still remember that powerful and heartbreaking photo of a young John F. Kennedy Jr. saluting his father's casket. That moment became one of the most iconic images in American history. As he grew older, JFK Jr. turned into one of the most talked about bachelors in the country. He was charming, handsome, and constantly surrounded by flashing cameras. Paparazzi followed him everywhere because the public could not get enough of him. Eventually, he fell deeply in love with Carolyn Bessette, a stylish Calvin Klein publicist who quickly became a fashion icon herself. Together, they were magnetic. The couple became a true power duo, always in the spotlight and admired by millions. Sadly, their love story ended in tragedy when a private plane piloted by JFK Jr. crashed near Martha's Vineyard, taking the lives of both Carolyn and John in a heartbreaking accident. But before Carolyn entered the picture, JFK Jr. had a relationship with actress Daryl Hannah, known for major films like Splash and several other iconic projects. Now that chapter of his life is being recreated in Ryan Murphy's new series, the same producer behind American Horror Story and many other dramatic hits. And that's exactly where the controversy explodes. Daryl Hannah is extremely upset about how she is portrayed in the show. In her New York Times essay, she strongly criticized the series, and her words carry serious weight. Since the article sits behind a paywall, many people haven't seen it, but what she wrote is powerful and deserves attention. She writes, "How can they get away with this?" Then she recalls advice once given to her by Jackie O. According to Hannah, Jackie Kennedy told her that while tabloids and magazines often printed ridiculous lies, those stories would quickly disappear. Hannah explained, "She told me that while tabloids, magazines, and newspapers often sold ridiculous lies, they were nothing more than birdcage liner by the next day." At the time, Hannah said those words gave her comfort, but now she believes that world is gone. She writes that in today's digital age, stories never truly vanish. In the digital age, stories do not disappear. Yesterday's news isn't tossed out with the morning paper, and lies live forever online. According to her, once something is published today, it gets archived, streamed, clipped, turned into memes, and pushed back into the spotlight again and again. She warns that when a TV show dramatizes real events, that version can become the one millions of viewers accept as truth. Hannah explained that she has usually stayed quiet about media stories involving her. "I have generally chosen not to respond to media coverage of me. I have long believed that engaging with distortion often amplifies it. But this time, things clearly pushed her to finally speak out." But Daryl Hannah says this latest TV series crossed a serious line. She argues that the recent drama about JFK Jr. and Carolyn Bessette includes a character using her real name, and according to her, the show paints that character in a harsh and misleading way. In her essay, Hannah claims the character is presented as irritating, self-absorbed, whiny, and inappropriate, and she believes that portrayal was completely intentional. She points out that one of the producers of Love Story even explained the reasoning behind it. While discussing the show, the producer said, "Given how much we're rooting for John and Carolyn, Daryl Hannah occupies a space where she's an adversary to what we want narratively in the story. In other words, the story needed tension and conflict, and the character carrying her name was placed in the role of the obstacle." But Hannah strongly pushes back on that idea. She argues that while storytelling often needs drama and friction, a real living person should never be used as a simple plot device. According to her, that approach turns someone's real life into entertainment without regard for the truth. She also raises another point that she says cannot be ignored. Hannah believes there is a gender issue buried inside this kind of storytelling. She writes that for years, culture has often lifted one woman up by pushing another woman down, labeling her the rival, the problem, or even the villain. She asks a sharp question in the essay: isn't it textbook misogyny to tear down one woman in order to build up another?
He's just tired, you know? That was so rude.
You're right. Please apologize to the coke den in my living room for my behavior.
I'm not sleeping here tonight if you're just gonna act like a fucking asshole.
Well, apparently I won't be sleeping here tonight either, so please let me know where you're gonna go.
Why did you want to get back together again if you're just gonna act like...
You came back to me.
On the condition of a clean slate, which you agreed to. And yet every time I look at you, your mind is clearly someplace else. All I want is for you to need me as much as I need you.
I don't even know what that means.
That's because you're repressed, John. I say this with love, but between your lineage and your heritage, you're like the poster child for emotional avoidance. Yes.
Oh my God, this what we're doing in front of your friends right now is exactly how we end up on the cover of People magazine every week.
Who cares? I'm trying to talk to you about real life.
Our relationship becoming a global punchline is real life, Daryl. And if you can't see that, then I don't really know what to tell you.
Hannah insists the version of Daryl Hannah shown in the series has almost nothing to do with her real life. She says the actions and behaviors assigned to that character are completely untrue. In her own words, she states, "I have never used this in my life, that substance, or hosted a substance-fueled party." She also adds that she never pressured anyone into marriage, never disrespected family items, never intruded on private memorials, and never planted stories in the press. She goes even further, saying one of the most shocking claims in the show is something she absolutely denies. According to her essay, "I have never compared Jackie O's death to a dog's." Hannah says it is disturbing that she even has to defend herself against a fictional television storyline. She stresses that these moments are not harmless storytelling details. In her view, they are direct claims about someone's real behavior, and she says they are simply false. When millions of viewers watch a dramatized story using a real person's name, the consequences can spill into real life. Since the show premiered, Hannah says she has already received hostile and even threatening messages from viewers who believe the scenes they watched are true. That reaction, she says, proves exactly why these portrayals matter. Hannah acknowledges that being an actress means living under public attention. Over the years, she says she has faced plenty of rumors, unfair stories, and harsh portrayals. Most of the time, she chose not to fight them and instead focused on her work while protecting her private life. But now she feels the silence has been misunderstood. As she puts it clearly, staying quiet should never be mistaken for accepting false claims. In her closing words, she suggests that her decision to stay private may have made her an easy target. Daryl Hannah went on to explain that for decades, her real work has had nothing to do with the kind of behavior shown in the series. She says her life has been focused on environmental advocacy, documentary filmmaking, and programs that bring animals to help seniors living with dementia and Alzheimer's. According to her, her professional life has always been built around compassion, responsibility, and helping others. She stresses that protecting her reputation is not about pride or ego. For her, it is about being able to continue doing meaningful work. If your reputation gets damaged, it can affect everything you try to do moving forward. Hannah explains that like any career, the work she cares about depends on trust and credibility staying intact. That, she says, is exactly why she finally decided to speak up now instead of staying silent. She also points out that the Kennedy family has always been extremely private, and she says she has always respected that boundary.
Fans can't get enough of the FX series about JFK Jr. and Carolyn Bessette's love story. Episode 6 drops tomorrow night, but a member of the Kennedy family is lashing out, calling the series grotesque.
JFK Jr.'s nephew is slamming the hit TV series love story John F. Kennedy Jr. and Carolyn Bessette.
I would just want people who do watch the show to watch it with one letter in mind, and that's a capital F for fiction.
Hannah warns readers not to blindly trust people who claim they know every detail of those personal relationships. In her words, many of those voices are simply chasing attention, spreading gossip, hints, and speculation to create headlines. Another major concern she raises is how modern audiences consume entertainment. Hannah says many viewers see something on television and assume it reflects reality, without separating dramatized storytelling from documented fact. And in today's digital world, that confusion can stick around for a very long time. She writes that entertainment now has the power to shape what people remember as history. In a digital era, entertainment often becomes collective memory. That's why she emphasizes that real names should not be treated like fictional props in a script. As she puts it, real names are not fictional tools, they belong to real lives. Hannah closes that thought with a powerful line comparing the past to today's internet age.
Guy knows nothing about what he's talking about, and he's making a ton of money on a grotesque display of someone else's life.
Murphy has dismissed Schlossberg's attacks.
I took it with a grain of salt. You know, it's a younger generation. I thought it was an odd choice to be mad about your relative that you really don't remember.
Birdcage liners biodegrade, online lies endure. And with that, she ends with a simple hope: may love and truth prevail. And honestly, that statement hits hard. She makes a strong point. There may not be much she can realistically do about the show now. Most productions like this include disclaimers, and it is unclear whether she will try to take legal action or not.
Caps. What if I
Wearing backwards baseball caps just like the Prince of Camelot. And Oxford button-down shirts with neckties, an all-American classic. The hot retro look is everywhere on social media.
Oh my God, you look good.
But the bigger reminder here is important. When producers turn real tragedies and real relationships into dramatic TV stories, viewers should remember that not everything on screen is the full truth. Some scenes are clearly designed for shock value and drama. For example, one clip shows a character using her name saying, "You're right, please apologize to the Coke den in my living room for my behavior. I'm not sleeping." Another line mocks it by saying, "The substance den in my living room." Apparently, all our friends are substance-riddled crazy people. Those moments are exactly the type of portrayal Hannah says is completely false and damaging. In another moment from the show, the actress plays the role with what many viewers say is a very exaggerated Daryl Hannah impression. The performance leans heavily into certain mannerisms, almost turning them into a dramatic character trait rather than simply portraying a real person. What makes this especially sensitive is that Daryl Hannah has openly spoken about living with autism. She was diagnosed as a child after showing behaviors like rocking, intense focus, and extreme shyness. Back in the late 1960s, doctors reportedly even suggested institutionalization, which was a harsh and common reaction at the time. Her mother refused that path, and Hannah has since talked publicly about the challenges she faced growing up. Over the years, she has explained that social anxiety made public appearances and Hollywood talk shows extremely difficult for her. Acting became a way for her to channel that energy and cope with the pressure of being in the spotlight. Because of that background, critics say moments like this in the show feel uncomfortable to watch. Instead of a balanced portrayal, the scene comes across as more of a caricature-style impression, which only adds more fuel to the controversy surrounding the series. So here's where things start to get even more complicated. When people dig around and look into older reporting about that time period, a very different version of events sometimes pops up. One article that often gets mentioned is a Vanity Fair piece from 2003. Now, to be clear, articles like that are still just reporting and claims, so no one can say with total certainty what is fully accurate. But according to that reporting, the situation may not have looked the way the TV series presents it at all. Some accounts suggested that Carolyn Bessette was the one who allegedly spent time around heavy substance use and social circles where that behavior was common. The article even described certain loft gatherings and social scenes connected to those rumors. Again, these are only allegations that appeared in past reporting, so it is impossible to say exactly what the full truth was. But that's exactly why this whole situation raises eyebrows. When a TV drama presents a clear villain and a clear hero, real life is usually far more complicated than that. And that's what makes the portrayal so controversial. Some people now wonder if the reality may have been very different from what the show suggests, yet the series still pushes a very specific storyline. In fact, there's another clip circulating online that shows the character with her name dramatically storming into a funeral even though she wasn't invited, which only adds more shock value to the story. In that scene, the show suggests she shows up to his mother's funeral unexpectedly, which pushes the storyline even further. The way it's framed makes the character look unstable and dramatic, almost like she's the chaotic villain in the relationship. The narrative basically paints her as the person he had to break away from so he could finally move forward with his life. And that's where the situation starts to feel uncomfortable for a lot of people. This isn't just a random fictional character, this is a real person with a real life and a real reputation. Of course, this kind of thing happens in television all the time. Look at shows like The Crown and many other biographical dramas. They often take huge creative liberties to make the story more dramatic and entertaining. But it raises a big question. At what point does creative storytelling cross the line? When real names and real lives are involved, how far should writers be allowed to go before it becomes unfair? And honestly, where do you stand on that debate? And that leads to a bigger frustration some critics are raising. The argument is simple. How can creators tell deeply personal stories about real families and tragedies without seriously involving the people connected to them? If a show is going to dig into someone's private life and painful history, many believe the family should at least have some level of input or awareness. But the counter-argument is obvious too. Producers often want full creative control so they can tell the story their own way, shape the drama, and make the series more gripping for viewers. That freedom can turn a complicated real-life story into something much more dramatic and profitable. And that's where many people say the real danger starts. Ryan Murphy has built a huge career doing exactly this. He has produced series based on major controversial figures and events, including stories connected to O.J. Simpson, Monica Lewinsky, and several other headline-making moments from the past few decades. These projects often become massive hits and dominate the conversation. But critics say the pattern raises an important question. How many times can real people be turned into dramatic characters before it starts to feel irresponsible? Daryl Hannah's essay basically shines a spotlight on that concern. Some viewers believe productions like this should include extremely clear disclaimers right at the beginning. Not just a quick line in small text, but something unmistakable that tells viewers this is a dramatized interpretation, not a factual retelling. Because right now, a lot of people watching seem to assume the scenes are accurate. If you scroll through social media comments, you can already see reactions pouring in. Some viewers are judging Hannah based entirely on the show's portrayal, believing that version of events is real. And that's why this debate is getting louder. Where exactly should the line be between entertainment and someone's real-life reputation? So now the question turns to you. Have you watched the show yet? What did you think about the way the story was portrayed? And after hearing Daryl Hannah's response, what do you think about her essay and the concerns she raised?